All right. Welcome to another edition of This Some Bullshit with Danis. Today I have the pleasure and the honor of sitting with one of my fraternity brothers, one of my guys, Akil Smith. Say what's up, Akil.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's a good time to be in the basement with my frat.
We, yes, sir. Cap Alpha Psi. My frat's so nice. We named it twice. So you see, he repping, we repping. So we out today. We just here. We just want to say thank you for joining us today. We're going to sit and talk today about something that most people tend to want to talk about, which is Black and police relationships. So we're going to talk about how the community reacts and stuff, but we're going to keep it simple. We're not going to go heavy because I know some of y'all may have some questions, but I want to shed some light onto how we can have better relationships with the community and everything. So, well, before we get started, since he's off duty and I'm off the clock, we're going to crack something open. So I told y'all we do drink from time to time. So we're going to have something nice here. What we sipping on today?
So we're gonna crack open some Eagle Rare, 10-year, nothing too fancy, but great little pour.
Oh yeah,
straight out the barrel. So here we go.
I'm all for it, bro, and I appreciate that. Oh yeah, so it just looks to you already. There you go.
Going to hit it off.
Yeah, it's on you. That's there right there. Awesome. Like I told y'all, hey, I'm known to have a drink or two from time to time. This is that time to time, and it's been a summer already, so we got to get one in. Smells good.
Sounds good.
Cheers. Yo, yo.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Smooth.
Smooth. Yes, sir. Oh, I like that right there. So, Akil, what got you into law enforcement? What was the attraction to become a police officer?
So thinking way back to the old days, when I was a kid back in the 80s, we had Starsky and Hutch, we had Chips, we had Hill Street Blues. We had all these great police dramas. In my neighborhood on the south side of Chicago, back then we played cops and robbers, running around with fake pistols and fake handcuffs. And it just always kind of drew me the excitement of catching the bad guy.
Right.
And it just never wore off. And I always tell people I want to be two things. I want to be an astronaut or I want to be the police.
Right.
And I went to Chicago public school, so I figured I wasn't going to be no astronaut. So I kind of settled for law enforcement. And policing for me, when I was a kid and they ride down the block, people got off the corners, people let the old ladies walk down the street. So I felt like I wanted to be that person who kind of made people feel safe in their community.
Okay.
And no matter what you say, I mean, there's some real criminals out there, and between us and them are the police. And that's that thin blue line, is really protecting those of us from harm who can't protect themselves.
Oh, that makes sense. Now you said something that made me just think about something. So if you could pick a police show that you say would mirror real police work, what would you say that would be if you had to pick one?
I wish I got it. It's close. I don't want to start digging, but The Wire, HBO, The Wire from
that was
2002 to 2007 or so. I'm going to tell you right now, it was the most realistic police drama I've ever seen in my life. 90-some% of it was really accurate. There was a little bit, some fake stuff, but, and the reason it was so accurate because a lot of the people who wrote and developed it were police reporters in Baltimore.
God.
So they lived and breathed police crime in Baltimore.
Wow, that's crazy. So when they were doing the wiretaps and getting all that stuff together, how they went about the process, getting the judge signatures and getting out there and getting those wires set.
100%.
100%.
100%. And just the characters, you fall in love with the police, and then the next season you fall in love with the bad guy who's really a good guy, but he's just doing bad stuff.
Right.
You fall in love with the corner boys who are really smart, really sharp, great leaders, but they just made the wrong turn. You see how the politicians and the media, how that kind of makes society kind of blow up over certain things that are a big deal, but not a big deal, and some things that should be bigger, there aren't. It's just that was just a great show and very realistic to city policing.
Okay, that's what's up. Well, The Wire was one of my favorites. I still watch it to this day, so I can go back and season 3, season 4 was probably my 2 favorite seasons. So when they started introducing Snoop and as other characters. Because don't ask me why I fell in love with Snoop, but Snoop was my girl. She, I was like, she was just hardcore, and I was like, hey, I just like that character. How what she
Well,
played.
you
and
know
stuff.
why? Because she wasn't acting.
Right, right,
Why
right.
it was us who they hired a bunch of people who were really about that life.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that because they actually have a documentary that's on BET right now where they talk about trap queens or whatever.
Okay.
She's one of the characters that
Uh-huh.
they actually got her live. I've been trying to catch that one. I have not caught it yet, but I plan on catching that episode because she sounds like she talks like she sounds on the show, and I want to peep that out. So that is something I'm looking forward to.
Hey, when Snoop was up at the Home Depot looking for that nail gun.
Yeah, when she looking for the nail gun. Yeah, that's what. Oh man, that was legit to me. I was like, dang. So I know you retired once, but you're back into it again.
Yes.
What prompted you to come back and just try to do what you're doing now?
So I was lucky enough to retire from the police department. It was just days are long when you're retired and nobody else in your house is retired. So I had the opportunity to get on another police department, leadership position. So I'm not out in uniform doing police stuff. I'm just leading people, right? Giving them some extra street cred with my experience, trying to be a good leader, trying to develop good, compassionate, hardworking, do the right thing police. And I think that in this community that I live in, diversity in law enforcement is low. And I felt like I was doing a disservice to the community by not representing us on the job when I was still able to keep working.
Gotcha.
And so that's kind of why I kept working.
Okay. So do you find the administrative side harder to do than the policing itself? Or is it, like being on a beat cop versus the administrative side? Because I hate paperwork. So
Right, I do too. I was able to kind of move up, but I'm really not a move up guy. I'm really like a police officer,
yeah.
but I had like good leadership with the rank and file. Make good decisions, but definitely managing personalities and problems inside the building and keeping people on task and training is way harder than going to work, doing your police job, handling calls, interacting with the public, and then going home, right?
Yeah.
As a leader, your phone can ring anytime all day and, you're dealing with other people's issues besides the community. It's more internal stuff.
Gotcha. So if you had any advice for young folks that have an encounter with police officers, what would be the advice that you give? Because being Black, of course, we have this stereotype of what we feel and believe the police are, especially with the young folks. And we want to tell them, hey, make your encounter. How can you make it successful? Because I know when you sometimes encounter a younger Black man, they may be, already thinking, man, keep picking on me, keep arguing with me and stuff. How do you de-escalate them to get them to understand, hey, look, I'm just trying to help you help the situation or whatever.
So that's a good question and it's difficult to answer on both sides of the spectrum, but I'm living both sides of the spectrum. So I find it a little bit easier. So just follow me. So, as it relates to that, it's simple. The same stereotypes you have against the police needs to be dropped.
Right.
And then we need to drop the stereotypes for the citizen, which means we never really talk about individual officers. We talk about the police.
Right.
Nobody says Officer Smith, Officer Jones did this. They talk about the police are this, the police are that. So the police rarely get a chance to be who they are without that coming at them. And we are the ones who need to do the same thing on the other side, which means treat people the way you want to be treated. That's like the golden rule. So when I was out there interacting with the public, and he's like, oh, the police did this to me. I said, well, I'm Officer Smith. I'm an individual and I'm here to kind of figure this out. And I'm not going to go off on all these different reasons why you may look like you're up to something, right? I'm going to, lead with my best foot forward. You lead with your best foot forward.
Right.
And if we can do that, and it's hard, it's harder to do this than be said.
Right.
But that bias goes both ways.
Okay.
And we are the ones who are, training to not have bias, implicit bias, to follow all these rules. But on the street, we're the only ones who have to follow rules.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But it's, again, treat people the way you want to be treated. And if you can go to work thinking, okay, this is like my brother, this is like my mom, this is like my sister. It's easy to treat people right.
Right.
You go in there thinking them as a family member. Is what I always tell people. You have to be the police. We have to be in these positions because you can't just trust that somebody else is going to treat you the way you want to be treated. Come on the job, treat people the way you want to be treated. The more of us on the job, the more discretion you can have, the more common sense you can use.
Right. Would you advise maybe a young person maybe take a day ride with a police officer, just see the day in the life of a police officer, like
Well,
a citizen ride or something like
yeah, so a lot of all the police departments I've been with, we do have a Citizens Academy. We do have ride-alongs, and those are open to the public. You shouldn't have a felony conviction, or otherwise you could apply to do a ride-along.
Okay.
And when you do those, you get out and you see how the officers are as human beings. You sit next to them, then you get to see like the whole situation as opposed to YouTube
clips. Yeah. That's what I was getting at, because sometimes people just see those 30-second minute clips, but they don't see how you got there, how the whole situation started and everything.
And kind of go back to what you're talking about. It's just, if the police come up on you, there's all kind of officers who are doing the right thing. There's some who aren't doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Either which way, comply and fight later in court.
So it's funny you say that. My daddy used to always tell me, he's like, son, I'd rather for you to comply and be alive than later on I'm carrying you and I'm trying to fight the battle. At least you still here. So he's like, just deal with it now. Don't argue with them, because you can fight it in court. Or something like that.
I would argue that, like, in 2026, like, law enforcement, again, I'm in Illinois. I see standards around the country, but Illinois in 2026, policing is the most professional, accountable, transparent that has ever been in the history of the world.
Wow. That's saying a lot there.
Well,
yeah.
Kind of like, but I'm just saying, like, we are body cam, car cam. You have public safety video. People have ring cam. There's cameras everywhere. And so, like, the situation is like documented.
Yeah.
We're documenting it. And then the public is documenting it.
Yeah.
Obviously, edits are usually on the public side.
Yeah.
The full story is going to be on the cameras at the store and on the body cam. So
funny you say that. Well, as you know, I told you I had an incident a couple of weeks ago that happened, and I got my police report, and it was 6 officers on the scene, and all 6 officers had their documentation of what happened and what occurred. And I'm sitting there looking, I'm like, damn, I don't even recall this officer, but he documented everything as he saw it and what he's seen. And you're right, the documentation that they go through
is
unbelievable. And that police report was 15 pages long. And after I read it, I'm like, I have no problems. I always tell everyone, I have no issues with the police. The police have been my friends since day one, because we get mad. Like, some people get mad at the police, but like you say, a few bad apples. But then when you need them, you want them there. You know what I mean? So it's like, do you hate them or do you like them?
So,
like, call them,
like I said, in 2026, the police departments are the best we've ever been. There's a whole lot of room for improvement. I'm not saying that.
Right.
I'm just saying there's a lot of growth in technology, accountability, the type of people we're hiring with their educational background. And again, I think police departments, I know it, are more diverse than they've ever been in the history of the world.
Right.
And so, there we are.
Well, I'm glad you said that, man. So let's take another toast, man. And I'm gonna have to get some more.
Oh yeah, man.
While you've been talking, I've been sipping. So
you've been sipping. Hey, I'll pour you another one.
Appreciate that. But on the lighter side of things, on your downtime, have you ever encountered folks that you've arrested and they look at you like, I know you from somewhere?
Yes.
And does that put you in a funny situation, or how do they react to you at that time?
So, funny stories, out here working, doing stuff, and young guy, young partner, we like to go out. We like to go to the club.
You're human. You're human. You got to still enjoy yourself.
We got our gear on, and we show up at one spot, and these young guys who we was, probably our age, they looked at us like, y'all go out? He's like, and you wear Timbos? I was like, yeah. where I'm just like you were. I got another life I'm living.
Right.
But yeah, we see them out and they like, it's just like on a wire.
Right.
When they met at the movie theater.
Yeah.
Said,
Oh, yeah. That's it. Yeah.
yes.
I'm like,
So that
damn.
movie theater, I got that same story where we're all way down in our spot and they looking at us and like, oh yeah, that's old boy from over there. And they're like, that's the police from over there. They used to call us the hot boys. Like, yeah, we out just enjoying our day
Right.
too.
Oh, shoot.
I mean, it really is. It's more than a job,
Right.
but it's really a job.
Yeah.
And it's not for everybody, but like we don't go home and plug into the wall and recharge.
Right.
I mean, we're just human beings.
Just human beings. Yeah. How does your family handle you being a police officer? Like, is there a lot of nerves about your job, or like now, especially since you work more behind the desk, it's not like you're on a beat so much. But when you were on the beat, was your family really worried about you at that time?
Yeah, I think definitely was worried. Part of it too is the hours you work.
Yeah.
You're working over at midnight. You're working at 2 a.m. You're working on a bad weather day. Like, I mean, it's tough to be the police when it's a bad snowstorm.
Yeah.
We got to get there. We got to drive and find people and help them out. I mean, our cars.
Could you get the calls about, hey, I was stuck in the ditch or whatever? So you got to deal with those. Okay.
My tires just like your tires. So like, if you can wipe out, I can wipe out.
Wow.
Well, we gotta get there, and we gotta sit there and wait for the tow. So I'm just saying, like, weather events are just as dangerous as somebody just bank rob it.
Yeah.
We got a bank robber. And you got to go catch him.
You know what? Sometimes I think people put that thought into it until we live up north, so we get the winter, so we get those heavy snowstorms and stuff, and you got to go out.
Yeah, I could tell you the worst days I worked at night. When you work midnights, most people sleep during midnight.
Right.
I'm out there. The whole shift is like fog.
Wow.
Like you can't see nothing. Like I can't even see, and I'm driving around while everybody's sleeping.
Right.
And then like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., the fog lifts. I'm like, man, nobody knows how terrible it was last night. Now happens like May, June, July. It's like real foggy.
Yeah.
You're riding around and you can't even see like past windshield.
Right. What helps you de-stress in those moments after that then? So like, what helps you de-stress a lot? So outside the golf.
So over the years, being a young person, I didn't even know what has stress. I love it, right? You love going out.
Yeah.
You think you're invincible. You see a couple of police officers kill in line of duty who are your buddies or your peers.
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh, this is not a game. This is not a game.
Yeah.
And this is not a guarantee to like survive tonight.
Right.
So then, you start, okay, they say running. Well, first of all, the elephant in the room is that, people do drink and enjoy alcohol and other vices because it's easy to do that, to decompress and to, obviously we can't use drugs and stuff like that, but alcohol is enough. But the healthy way is physical fitness, spending time with your family, traveling, reading and things like that. But personally, when I was younger, I used to do a lot of running and stay in shape because people weren't really trying to go to jail. So
right.
you may have to be strong, right?
Gotcha. So what some of y'all may not know, Akil and I both attended Illinois State University. And so we graduated a couple of years apart. We was on the same yard, but we never ran into each other. But we got so many commonalities and stuff.
It's between.
Right. That's my doppelganger right here. So, so when he first came in, we was like, oh man, that's your doppelganger. And then when I look back on the picture, I'm like, damn, you're right. So we have a lot of laughing moments about stuff, and we have a lot of commonalities of things. So what I really appreciate about you, bro, is that you always you so cool. Like you always keep a cool head on everything. Like you laugh when you need to laugh, and you crack your jokes subtly. If you ain't paying attention, he'll slip that joke in. You're like, damn, wait a minute, I just caught what he said and everything. So I appreciate the fact that your human side, everyone always think you police officer 24/7. I know you're not. I know you more so I see you more as a joking brother than a police officer. So I'm like, man, this is a cat I know I can go hang out with. We can have fun with and stuff. So I always tell folks, like you said earlier, police officers are humans too. And so you have to live your life and everything. And so the fact that we got a bond together, I see you out when you go golfing and you do your other stuff. And I'm like, see, that's what I love about Akil, because Akil just kick it and stuff. And that's what makes you your human side. You know what I mean? And the fact that you can balance both worlds and still maintain a sense of just calm. You know what I mean?
You,
Like
you,
I'm always calm around you
you
because
can't let law enforcement define who you are as a person.
yeah, yeah.
And I think a lot of jobs speaks to that, but
Hmm.
definitely in policing, if you're the police and you stand behind that for your identity,
Hmm.
you're probably not in it for the right reason, and you're not a good police. You probably got ego.
Yeah,
Ego is something that law enforcement don't really need.
right.
We all have ego. I've got an ego, but I just sucked it up,
Yeah.
and tried to maintain without going overboard.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is I know folks who work in different fields and they live their jobs outside of work. So you work, let's just say 9 to 5, you get off, they still working, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, and they
Yeah.
stressing about stuff. You know, and when I see you, you be like, man, bro, let's go hang out. Let's de-stress, let's detox, let's whatever. And so we just go, and when I say detox, y'all, I'm just talking about we just breathe and enjoy life. You know what I mean? I know you like to golf a lot. I'm scared to get on the golf course with him because my golf game can't match his golf game. I can tell you that right now.
Keep swinging.
I know. I swing and slice. Swing and slice. So I'm left-handed, mine's go this direction.
Yeah.
So, but you know, just being in the bond with you has been so cool. Just be able to watch you just grow and just do your thing, bro. And that's the beauty of watching you in the fraternity and then in your personal life, just doing what you do and
I
stuff.
appreciate
So
it.
the fact that you were even willing to talk to me today about policing and about what you do in your career and stuff like that and what you've been up to, I never want it to be stressful for you. You know what I mean? I want
Yeah.
you to be able to sit and talk with me and just have a good time and stuff. What's something else that you think people should really realize about police officers that folks don't really realize?
Well, it kind of goes into the same thing you said, but um, we all have people that love us. And so here's an interesting thing. Like
Hmm.
what I've found in my long police career is that people who have family members who are in law enforcement,
Hmm.
they are easier to deal with out in the world, right?
Gotcha.
Because they like, oh yeah, my dad's a police officer, or my cousin, or my mom,
Uh-huh.
And so they again, it brings that human factor when you know somebody who you love,
Right. That's a police officer.
that's a
Mhm.
police officer,
Yeah.
which makes you realize that we need to be loved too.
Mhm.
My mom and dad didn't think didn't raise me to be the police. It's something
Mhm.
inside, they had their own things coming
Right.
up in the 60s and 70s, but they never told me not to do it. But they had their
Yeah.
own reservations
Reservations.
about
Yeah. Okay.
what the job is and what being called the police meant,
Yeah. So once
and
you
the danger that comes with
once
it.
you became a police officer, how did your parents react to that then?
So my parents were really good at just letting me
Find your way.
find my way,
Mhm.
and not really. I mean, they'll tell you, "Oh, we're really proud," but they have some concerns. They won't really
Yeah.
voice them initially.
Yeah.
But it sounded like my mom was very afraid of the job that I
Mhm.
chose to get into when I was
Gotcha.
22 years old,
Yeah.
which
Well,
I
you
didn't know. I didn't know nothing about it until like 10, 50 years later. My dad was always proud, and my dad was the guy who was like, "I couldn't be the police. I'll be beating people." I said, "Hey, that's a true statement.
Right.
We know that some people
Right.
you may want to touch them up a little bit,
Right. Right.
like Shaq says.
Oh, shit.
Um,
What do you think about that? About Shaq even doing? Like, I think people try to make it comical, but I think Shaq really took it is serious. It's a serious thing for Shaq.
yeah.
And so, like, how do you view Shaq doing that? You know what I mean?
Again, my thought is this: like a lot of us who came up in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s,
Yeah.
we saw policing and being a firefighter and going to the military is something honorable,
Mhm.
strong, like,
That's
right?
fine there. Yeah.
And so I think some of these young people who have grown up on um, different social media
Yeah.
outlets that show police encounters
Mhm.
usually in a negative light,
Right.
or at least an abbreviated light that doesn't even give you enough information to make a determination.
Yeah.
I think young people are the ones who don't see this as honorable and favorable and
Mhm.
about the real thing. So Shaq being around our age, and his
Right.
dad was a military
Military.
veteran,
Yeah. His dad
his
was military.
stepdad, and he saw him as being disciplined,
Yep.
sharp, articulate, on time, and that's a discipline. Discipline, I'm talking about the big D.
Yeah.
Discipline is
It is.
nobody. These young people ain't about discipline.
Yeah.
They're about a whole bunch of other stuff. So like they weren't drawn to it like I was. Like I think a lot of us were drawn to it. And whether you went into law enforcement or not, I think a lot of us in the 70s and 80s wanted to be the police, even if it was just to ride a motorcycle and put some sunglasses on, right? Because it was seen as kind of cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And those days are over with.
Yeah.
Like
No, I
nobody was
get
like,
it.
"Oh man, the police look cool." I mean,
Yeah.
that's not.
And the sad part is everyone view the police as, no, I just say everyone. A lot of people view the police as the enemy.
Yeah.
I don't see that though. I see it as, I do see the serve and protect, but then I also see the kinder, softer side too, because like many of you know, I work for the city of Champaign, and in the city of Champaign, we have various encounters with stuff. And there's times when we do need the police on my particular job.
Yeah.
And I see the softer side when they come in and be like, hey, I ain't trying to disrupt. I'm just here to assist. And that's 90% of they say, I'm here to assist. We just want to make sure nothing gets out of hand and everything. And that's cool. So one last story about Shaq. Did you see the story that they had where Shaq, there was a gentleman who just got his badge and he missed the test by like a point or two, and Shaq paid his bills. Yeah, he's working 2 jobs. So Shaq paid his bills for 6 months so he could graduate.
Yep.
Man, I said, see, that's the human side. That's what I applaud Shaq for that. He wanted to make sure that brother got that badge and everything. And dude, that touched me there.
The officer was 7'3".
Yeah, 7'3". Yeah, he's 7'3". That's what it was. I couldn't remember 7'2", 7'3". So he's 7'3". Yeah, he's 7'3". And he did, but the fact that Shaq was like, hey, this brother's really trying. I'm going to help him get through that. So is that test really hard?
Well, yeah. So, most police, I call it the gauntlet, and every state is different. And the more we, put all this on the police, the less the applicant we get.
Yeah, gotcha.
So we need good applicants. We need good people. For example, my nephew, who's like 14 years old, all he wants to be is the police.
Okay.
And so this is a true story. And so I tell my sister, like, I don't want to get in law enforcement because of all these reasons.
Right.
All these reasons, not my reasons, the reasons that the public put on us.
Gotcha.
And I was telling this to my sister, and I told this to a coworker. And the coworker said, we always need good people. Why would you say that? And it just hit me. It's like a smack in my face. I'm like, we do need him.
Yeah.
He's a good kid. He's a good man. He has this fire to do this. This is who we need, right? And we need more of our people to be in it, because again, the more we're in it, the more good people we have in it, the better the profession is. And right now, a lot of good people don't want to be in it. And so we still get people,
but you don't get you may not get all the good people.
The quality is and so when I was saying, in 2026, we got the best this, we got the regardless and that, in 2046, it may not be like that. And so then you're going back. You're going backwards.
So you almost had to remove your biases to say, oh, my nephew may actually be a good police officer.
For society.
For society in the whole.
Yep.
So yeah. So
and his buddies and whatever. Like but I'm like, I don't want him to have to deal with this.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah. You just brought another question in my head. So I watch all these detective shows and stuff. Like being a detective sometimes to me looks sort of cool, trying to piece together. Like you got a 1,000-piece puzzle and you're trying to put these pieces together. Is that what it's like? Like when you got a case in front of you and you got to figure out how to put this puzzle together?
Yeah, I mean, it really is. We really have a board with the, dry erase board with the names and the times and the flow charts.
Like The Wire, when they have a big board and they have all the places, the people on there, like that sort of, right?
And we have a big table and we have meetings and, people's ideas are shared, and if I don't know what's going on, I'm checking with another area. Like, hey, have you seen this type of thing? How did you guys handle that? So information sharing. Obviously, there's training. You go to training, like, hey, this is how you handle this type of investigation. This financial investigation, this homicide investigation. Like, we're not just making it up on the fly. Like, there's a blueprint to it, and we're trying to catch up, right? Usually criminal activity is always a step ahead.
Right. So you're behind, you're behind 8 ball. So you're trying to catch up to where they're already at, because the crime's already committed. So you're trying to get to figure out what.
And the scam is new. Like we always say, I mean, honestly, we only catch the stupid ones. Like we catch the stupid criminals pretty good. We're getting better at catching the smart ones, right?
Gotcha.
But the smart ones, a lot of times you're getting away with it, because you're smart.
But I always say they eventually mess up sometime. They eventually do something that allow you to catch up to them, because it could be anything, or it could be someone that they piss off.
And a lot of times, you may not get them for what they just did, but you got them for what they did before,
Yeah.
or vice versa. Like you're getting them at some point. And even like a lot of these serial killers and serial rapists, people don't really follow all this, but you get convicted of a couple, but you had 10
Right.
10 rapes that we couldn't prove.
Right. Right. 10, but you catch number 11, or you catch number 2.
And you clear a couple of them, but there was no fingerprint, there was no DNA, there was no witness. But like you were good for those.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
get, bro, man, I gotta say, this has been so cool, man. I really appreciate you taking the time just to enlighten us and enlighten me and just talk with us. And you got deep on some stuff. I appreciate that, man. So we're gonna get ready to wrap this segment on up, because we've had a good conversation. We've had a good
Hey,
conversation.
you
on
drank
this.
more than I drink.
Yeah, oh yeah. Hey, well, y'all know me. I drink anyway, so it is what it is. I like to have a good time.
Well, for something,
What's that?
we could maybe do a part 2 if people want to see it.
Yeah, I'm always open
So-
for part 2. You know what?
It ain't
But-
understand,
Well, the cool part is you got to connect, so we can connect all the others around. We can make that happen. I'm all. Hey, y'all open for it? I'm open for it, because this is how you learn. This is how we grow. The goal is, I don't want no one in the community feeling like the police is their enemy, because realistically, it's not. They're only your enemy if you're committing a crime. If you're not committing a crime, then you just need to know how to interact and know that they are human. Like he said, I got a good friend that's my frat brother that is cool. And there's others out there that we interact with. So the goal is to make sure you can have that relationship and then dispel the myths of bad policing or bad police in community engagement, because that's not the case. There is good community and police engagement. And we want to make sure that you understand that. So I'm with you. So a part 2 would be awesome. But I wanted to start here because I know you, and we can get the other ones on the line, and we can just drive it out some more and everything. You up for it? I'm up for it. So we can make that happen. Thank y'all for joining us on another edition of This Is Bullshit with Danis. This has been a great conversation with Akil Smith, my fraternity, my frat brother right here. Hey, I had a blast. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope you picked up some nuggets. And you know what? Share this with the younger folks in your life, because I know I got a lot of older followers, but share this with your brothers, your sisters, your nieces, your nephews, and let them see that, hey, there's more to life than just thinking that everyone's against them. We're not against y'all. We're just trying to help everyone live a better life. So share this with your family members, and hit me up if you got questions and concerns. If you got some extra questions, let me know. I can shoot them to Akil, and he can answer those for you if possible. If you got generic stuff about how to live and how to work in the community, we'll work with y'all on that. And so until then, we'll see y'all.